Hello and welcome back to Life in Recovery. So it's the very beginning of November, which means it's time to do my month in review for October. You'll have to forgive me if I cough my way through this video. I can already feel one brewing. I'm getting over a bout of illness, which is unfortunately dragging on quite a lot. So yeah, just ignore the coughs. Moving straight into the first category, which is word or quote of the month. So the quote is not a word, actually, it's lots of words, but it's a quote of the month. And I think it was Marilyn Monroe who said something like, and I paraphrase, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And I'd heard this phrase before, and I guess I felt it was a little bit harsh and quite brutal, and I didn't really buy into it. But this month especially, I can see why and how she might be pushed to say that. And there was, a thread running through that quote which I think really struck a chord with me, especially this month. And it's not necessarily about handling me at my worst and then you deserve me at my best. It's less about that. It's more, if someone isn't there for you when you need, and you're often there for them, then it can start to eat away at that relationship, I think. Especially if they offer help and that doesn't materialise and you really do need that help. So in that sense, that's why that's a phrase of the month, because this is actually something I talked about probably a little bit too much length in my May in review video. So I'll link the May in review video below and you can go and watch that and hear me ramble on about there needing to be a give and take in relationships. And if you relentlessly and tirelessly support other people and maybe you're not getting a lot back when you need it or when you're asking for it, that can really it can cause a lot of kind of negative emotions, and you can think badly of yourself, and also you can think not so favourably about those people or that person. So I think this month it really again was brought home to me, and I'm certainly maybe readjusting and rethinking what I want and how who I want to surround myself with, and actually normally I talk about my life lesson later on in the video, in the sequence, but really I think my biggest life lesson from this month was that I'm still in a process of finding myself, and in this new phase of my life, in this really happy, really healthy phase, except obviously when I have a cough. But and that really means that in a process there are going to be tensions, and if you have your beliefs challenged or your relationships challenged by things cropping up, and you realise that actually maybe some people aren't the best to have around you, or there could be other people you're going to for help, or actually people not hearing that you need help is a problem, and so maybe that needs looking at within yourself, but also in the people around you. And I think if you struggle to admit you need help, or you don't like to appear, weak or vulnerable, then when you do finally say, actually, I need a little bit of support, or could you help me out, or, and that's, again, this is something I talked about in the May video, is if that's not recognised, or ignored, or it's kind of put to one side, then you think, it can cause you to kind of reassess things. And I think also if you're somebody that people look at and think they're very competent, they're always happy, they're always willing to help, and they always put others first, then if that slips for a second, if that person does need help themselves, it can actually cause other people to go, I don't know what to do, and it throws them off, and they're less likely to help because they don't really know what's going on. It doesn't fit. So I think all of that, there's lessons about myself, about other people, about life, about all sorts of things happening in the latter part of October. So that's really why, for me, although October has been a really fantastic and exciting and fun-filled and happy and lovely month, it also, the latter part, the last couple of weeks, have proved testing in more ways than one. And I think it's always good when you have difficulties and things crop up, that actually you take a little bit of time to think about those and then have some takeaways. So really my phrase of the month, although it's not directly that Marilyn Monroe quote, and my lesson of the month are all tied up in that. So leaving the kind of more deep and dark stuff behind, I move on to my healthy meal or food of the month. And actually this was inspired by a sandwich, or like a wrap, I guess you'd say, a WRAP wrap, not an RAP wrap, from Pret. And it's there, if you know it, then you'll know exactly why I loved it. It's the halloumi and falafel wrap. And I was so taken with it that I decided to try and recreate it myself at home, because I think buying food out isn't very cost effective, and also you don't always know what's in your food. So I think it's great to take inspiration from meals you've eaten at restaurants or sandwiches you've picked up on the corner. So I made a halloumi and grain salad that didn't have any falafel in it, because I didn't have any, but I did have some mixed grains. And then I did a red pepper puree, had some spinach and some peas in it, and it was absolutely delicious. I'm trying to put some more recipes up on the blog. In fact, there are 2 new recipes this month on there, so I'll link the blog below as always, so do check them out. But if you would be interested in a halloumi based recipe, then do let me know in the comments, or send me a tweet, or other forms of social media communication that I'm on. And I do like hearing from you and reading all your comments. So that was my healthy meal food of the month. I always think it's good to take inspiration from what other people are making and what you eat out, because often you get stuck in a rut, and it's nice to mix things up a little bit. So we've done lesson of the month, and moving on to the healthy thing of the month. And really this is such a basic, so it's sleep and rest. I think they're 2 very, very different things, sleep and rest. I have done a video on sleep hygiene and tackling insomnia, so I'll link that below, so that's more in depth than I'll go into in this video. And I have also written a post for another website, the Olive Fox, on rest, which I will also link below, and that will really again just help you if you want a bit more information about good sleep and good rest, because I think they are essential. So I went through a period of about a week, about 2 weeks ago, where I didn't sleep really at all, for reasons I won't go into now, but I think, I mean, I hadn't suffered with, it wasn't insomnia, so there was a reason why I couldn't sleep, but I had forgotten how much lack of sleep and sleep deprivation, a sleep debt, whatever you want to call it, really impacts everything. It's like a poison that seeps into every part of your life. So I was ill at the time as well, hence the kind of the remnants of coldy coffee stuff. But you know, that kind of double whammy really just meant I felt miserable about everything. In fact, so miserable that I was a little bit worried that, you know, I was maybe sleeping backwards, or I was, anyway. So it kind of made me reevaluate the importance, or maybe remember the importance of sleep. And also, when you can't sleep, having a rest is so important. I think it really means that you can maintain your balance and your equilibrium, and means you have some resources to face the day and you know, deal with challenges and the kind of the stresses of life, and also to then enjoy the good things and feel perky and positive and smile. So I think that was my, you know, my healthy thing of this month, was just to especially the last few days. So I've had maybe 4 or 5 nights where I've actually slept, and I'm still, you know, feeling like I'm catching up and regaining my strength, and so that really shows that, you know, even just a few days of bad sleep can have a dramatic impact on your mental and your physical well-being, and it really does matter to get that sleep. And if you can't get sleep, getting some rest. So do check out the video and read the article, because you know, that they'll tell you a little bit more and about that, about the impact of that. And also I have all my top tips in there for good sleep hygiene, sleep routines, and also then getting some rest and relaxation. So then, final category is goal for the next month. And really all I want for the next month is to just settle back into, you know, after the last kind of 2 weeks of upheaval, is settle back into my normal routine. So I had got into a routine, so I'm back at university, which is really exciting, and I'm really enjoying that. And it's so nice to see all my friends after the summer break and get, you know, stuck back into university life and thinking about the future, which is really exciting. So for me, it's just getting back to feeling like myself again after the last 2 weeks, but not forgetting the valuable life lessons and little adjustments that I'm going to be making. So that is October 2017 in review. I hope this video has been helpful. Please do give it a thumbs up if it has been. I was actually debating whether to make this video at all, because I had felt a little bit miserable and like I didn't really want to be on camera, but actually I think it's really good to have done it, because then you can see that things aren't always rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. Sometimes there are crappy bits of life, but you can get through them. And yeah, please do let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Also, if you'd like to see that recipe, that halloumi recipe. And until next time, goodbye.